Okay, we should now be recording. All right, so here we go. Okay, so welcome to Camp Woolverton's first IC meeting. Woo, we're very excited. Yes, here we go. So we always...
Okay, so usually meetings start, we all in unison say the ATC mission statement, which we can't even hear y'all, but y'all can still say it out loud with me. So here we go. Aggie transition camps exist to successfully transition new students into the Aggie family. Woo! All right, cool.
Beautiful. All right, so howdy, meet your chairs. This is us. So my name is Laura Pippin. I am from the class of 2019. That is me and my dog. He asked me about my dog anytime. I'll send you cute pics. He's amazing and I love him dearly. But yes, I was in camps Rosser, Jones, and Jolly, and now I'm the proud chair for Camp Woolverton.
Yes.
So, yes.
Howdy, my name's Robbie. Hopefully y'all all know that by now, but I am class of 21. You can enjoy that picture of me with my tiny hands and me in my banana suit when we were filming our video the other day. But yeah, that's me. And then our namesake is Candace Woolverton, class of 20. She's a grad student. She's also one of the advisors for ATC, which we know we've said this information to y'all, but we want to make sure y'all know who everybody in our camp is. So we'll keep saying it.
Now, these are our campfire speakers. Now they are with us tonight. Normally would obviously have them introduce themselves, but for the purposes of this, Jen, you are in this live stream. So wave, I guess, if they can see you too. That is Jen. And then Grayson, you're also here, so you can wave too. I don't know if they can see you right now, but there you go. There's Grayson. They are our campfire speakers, so their role is to really just kind of help us get to camp. They serve as a support, not only to us as chairs, but to y'all as counselors. So if you ever have questions that maybe you don't want to ask us, and maybe you just want to get their feedback on it, they've been through camps multiple times. They've both been chairs before, so they kind of know what they're doing. So you can always go to them, and they want to get to know you too, just as friends as well. So they're not intimidating, they're really cool, and they're here to help us as well as you.
And then we have our liaison, Emily Marcus, who I believe is the director of membership development. She'll actually be talking to y'all later tonight. She has some important information to go over for y'all. She'll be giving you a little presentation here in a minute, but she's been a chair before. She's definitely super qualified. You can go to her for any questions you might have as well. Just another person who is there to support y'all and who wants the best for y'all.
And then lastly, our teamers are with us tonight as well. So we have Seth, Pau, and Annalise. They have all been counselors before, and their role now as teamers is to not only lead yells at camp, but to help facilitate kind of our camp getting to camp. They are a source of information for y'all as well. They're really awesome. And they can just be a great resource again for y'all if you ever have questions. They're all really awesome. So yes.
Yes.
And then next.
All right, so we'll go over the expectations y'all might have for us in a minute, but we're going to start with expectations we have for y'all. Number one would be meeting deadlines, which every important deadline you need to meet, there'll be information about it in the important GroupMe. So if you want to mute the other GroupMes, we don't really want y'all to, but this is the one we definitely don't want y'all to mute. It's the important GroupMe, because everything that's vital for the functioning of our camp, the information you need to know, will be in that GroupMe. So please just be on the lookout for important messages in there. We said it a lot in there, but please like them so that we know you've seen them. And meeting deadlines will be really important throughout this whole process, especially later on, when we're writing skits, when we have a lot of other stuff we have to get done. It's just really important that everyone does their stuff, because we have our camp, including me and Laura, is 28 people, and it's just, for our camp to run well, we just really ask that y'all would try to stay on top of things. We'll have a calendar up and running soon in the drive, so you can kind of look off into the future and see what you have coming up. But for now, just please keep watching out for important messages in that group me.
Nice. And then one of ATC's values, which is also a value that Robbie and I hold kind of dear, is inclusivity. So we're going to talk a little bit more about the 3 or more rule in just a second, but basically what we want is for everyone to be bonding and no one to be excluded. So that means that if you are hanging out, even virtually, yes, virtually hangouts, with more than 2 people, that means that you should probably invite everyone. And if you will put that in the Hangout GroupMe, that would help us ensure that everyone is being included and invited to those things. So that kind of facilitates that camp bonding. And we'll talk more about that 3+ rule in just a second. But
another thing we ask y'all to do is to communicate, because like I said a minute ago, there's a lot of deadlines, a lot of things that will have to get done. If there's ever a problem with, like, let's say you have something come up where you can't get something turned in on time, like, we're completely understanding of that. We just want to know, like, we'd much rather you tell us, like, I can't get this thing done, something, my mom is sick or something like that, or I have to take my dog to the vet. Like, that's fine as long as you let us know. It would be frustrating, for example, if you just ended up not telling us and then, like, you didn't have your thing done, you didn't let us know. Because if you let us know ahead of time, like, there's no problem with that at all. But just please let us know if you have anything you need to talk about, any problems with this whole process, you don't understand something. Like we've really emphasized, we have all these people here for you, and we're here for you as well. So we just really want us to be able to communicate efficiently with each other, so that we can make camp run smoothly.
And then when it comes to being proactive and intentional, we really want y'all getting to know each other. We know these are kind of weird circumstances right now, but y'all are already doing such an amazing job in the Snap group and in GroupMe, just kind of reaching out to each other and getting to know each other. You know, even if you Snap people individually, I would recommend that. I feel like that kind of create some really good bonds doing it that way. You guys are doing a great job right now of it. Just keep it up and be proactive and intentional with getting to know each other, because eventually, you know, partner prep is coming in the future. It's not like right now, but it's coming. And so you definitely need to start thinking about, okay, like, who do I really want to get to know better so that I can kind of make a more informed choice when it comes to, like, ranking, like, who you want as your partner and things. So be intentional with that and keep that in mind.
Yes, for sure. Another thing is we would like y'all to be positive and adaptable. Like we've said, it's a weird circumstances, but just worrying about how things are going to go, or, like, enthusiasm is always important when it comes to camp, but especially during times like these, it's really important that y'all just stay positive about the whole situation with camp and the pandemic and everything. Please just try to remain positive, try to encourage one another, and just not, like, dwell on the weird circumstances we're in right now. Please just try to be positive, because we want this to be a great experience, and we want to fulfill our mission statement, like we said earlier. That's super important. So please just try to stay as positive as you can. We're going to stay positive. We're not going to complain or anything like that. So we just ask that y'all do the same thing.
And then this last one, remember your why for camp. You were chosen to be in this camp because we found that your why was really in line with ours. And ATC is really special in that it not only gives you guys that sense of family, but it really is there to give the campers that sense of family. So in everything that you do leading up to camp, and in all activities and all hangouts, think about your why. Remember why you're here. Because sometimes when you're in the midst of deadlines and you're in the midst of getting things done for camp, that can get lost. And we really want to put the campers at the forefront of what we do. We're here for the campers. They are our why. So just remember kind of why you came into this in the first place throughout this process. And that kind of goes into the attitude: be positive, be camper focused. And yes, very good. So now we kind of explained our expectations for y'all, but this is going to be y'all's time to kind of give us expectations. What do you expect out of us as chairs? So what I'm going to do here is I am going to attempt to, if you guys can find the chat feature, there we go, Annalise has found it. There should be a little chat feature somewhere if you, like, scroll down to your screen. If you can't find it.
If y'all don't want to type out the whole thing on there, you can just say, like, me in the message, and we'll unmute you and you can talk. Or if you don't want to say it in front of everyone, you can just type in there whatever idea you might have.
Yes.
But if you want to talk in front of everyone, you could Or really, you could just unmute yourself and start talking if there's anything you want to say right
so
now.
really, it's what are your expectations for us as chairs, and then how can we make this an amazing experience for you guys? So if you have something that you really want to share, open communication. All right, Terry said open communication. So that is great. I'll add it to the list. Good.
Yeah, we want honest feedback from y'all because we want to make
Yes.
this a great experience. We want to make this a great experience for the campers as well. So if y'all can think of anything, just
approachability. I like that one.
Cool.
I like that one. That is our hope, is that we are very approachable. I swear we're not intimidating. I feel like in my first camp, I was intimidated to go to my chairs because I was like, oh my gosh, there are leaders. But I really want you all to be able to come to us if you ever have questions and just really get to know us. We're pretty cool, I think. Level-headedness. I don't know if that's a word. It is a word. Yes. Sick. Love it. Cool. Awesome. And again, after this meeting, I will add this slideshow to our camp drive. So if you have things you want to add there, and we can go back and look at those, or if you want to text Robbie and I some things that you're looking for in the future, you can definitely do that if something kind of pops into your head later.
Yeah, it's totally fine if you have something or if you can't think of anything right now, or if you think of something later. If you have something you still want to say in front of everyone, please just text us sometime tonight. That would be great.
That would be great. Maybe not that one with everything going. Oh, no. I was like, wait, what? All right, perfect. We will come back to this maybe in the future if more things get added, but we will kind of return now to the presentation. Bam. Okay. Let me make sure. Okay. Now, thumbs up if you can now see the slideshow full screen. Perfect. Love it. Next, all right, Emily is going to come in and talk about accountability procedures, so she should be able to unmute herself. So we're going to give the floor to Emily, our liaison.
Back to the left.
Back to the left. There she is. I will unmute. There we go.
Okay.
Okay, awesome. Hello. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, cool beans. Okay, so accountability procedures, what are they? Great questions. So first off, accountability procedures are just ways to help yourself and your chairs facilitate a conversation and help for personal growth in the event that something happens. So first off is a chair procedure, and the purpose of that is like a first official conversation to address any issue with a counselor or teamer. Your chairs will email you instructions and like why you're meeting, things like that, and then set up a time to sit down for a conversation if they deem that necessary. If they like, a liaison might be there. Depends on the chairs. It's up to their discretion. And then, so these kind of go in like a tier system. So it's chair procedure and then disciplinary procedure. So disciplinary procedure is something that staff does. So we'll notify you and state why we're calling this meeting with you. After you get that email, you'll have 72 hours to respond and set up that meeting. And so these kinds of things are held after maybe a chair procedure. You had that and there's no improvement from that, or there's a breach in policy that can result in a DP or a review board based on like the severity of that. So a review board has the same like emailing procedure as a DP, but it's more severe. With a disciplinary procedure, you have 2 members of staff there, but with a review board, you have all of staff. And so that's just kind of a conversation. Both of these are conversations that we have, and a review board can result in anything from probation to removal, depending on the results of that review board. And it's something to like scare you. It's just something to be aware of and like keep in mind. Okay, I have another slide. I don't know how to click it. I don't think it. Beautiful. Okay, policy. So policy is in place to make sure everyone's safe, the organization's protected, you fun, and it's inclusive. So first off, no drinking together. Any two members of the same camp or team cannot consume alcohol together. Also, you can't do drugs because 1, it's illegal, and 2, it's against our policy to do drugs. And then also no member under the age of 21 can consume alcohol. And then also you can't consume ATC events under the influence of illegal drugs or alcohol because 1, the drugs are illegal, and 2, alcohol and drugs are against our policy. And then if you're no member under 21 can consume alcohol, and if you are over 21, please make sure you're not wearing any ACC apparel when you're consuming or purchasing alcohol or tobacco products. That's against our policy as well. And then we can't consume alcohol with campers while our policy is still in effect. I believe for T Camp, it's in effect until October 1st. Yeah, and also if you're in the same organization as one of your fellow counselors, our alcohol policy still applies. So no matter like what environment you're in, you can't be associated with anybody within your same camp, which includes your teamers, counselors, chairs, and liaisons, and namesakes. So association means like you're there for like the same reason in like that environment. So like organization socials where there's alcohol, birthday parties, music festivals, things like that, like you cannot go together. If you happen, I don't say like Robbie and Laura are in the chicken together. Well, they're not together, but they're in the chicken on like a Thursday, and they pass each other. They can say, "Oh, hey, good to see you," and then they can't talk to each other again, because if they do, then they're associating, and that's against our policy. But they can be there, just not associate. Let's see. Yeah. So like an example of association is you are at like a house party or Northgate for the same person's 21st birthday or an organization social. That's association. So that's against our policy. However, for ring dunks, you can show up and support the person in your camp, but you cannot consume alcohol, and after they dunk, you have to leave. And then for Harry's, we can go to Harry's together, but none of us can drink, and that applies for campers as well. And then relationships. We can't have relationships with each other. Sorry. So members of an individual camp can't have romantic relationships with somebody who's in their same camp. And you also can't have romantic relationships with campers until their policy's over as well. If you are in a relationship with somebody in this camp that's like pre-existing, like before you got the email, then we do have a relationship disclosure form, and like that's not us trying to like get in your business. That's just us trying to like protect you from like, I don't know, if somebody like found out or something. Well, you're not breaking policy. We have record of that. So that's, you sign it, it's done, and then we don't talk about it. We put it away. If you break up, we don't bring it up again. We never bring it up again. It's just in our records. Yeah. What else? And then travel policy. You are not allowed to travel more than 25 miles outside of College Station with anybody from your camp. So this is a big thing that's very that we put in place for inclusivity. It would like really suck if like you there were a few of y'all that like drove away and like went somewhere for the weekend, and the rest of the camp wasn't included. So it's due for inclusivity and like safety. So as a camp, you will have 2 road trips, and if you do travel outside the 25 miles and we are made aware of it, you cost your camp one of your road trips. So that's not fun, and you really don't want to do that because road trips are super, super fun, and they help everyone bond as like a camp. So you don't really want to do that. You don't want to be like the person who costs your camp a road trip. Like that sucks. Yeah. And then no breaking the law. Like I said earlier, don't do drugs. Don't break the law. That's not fun because the law. It's also important to note we have social media policy as well. Don't keep the values of ATC in our culture in your social media. Don't harass anybody on like social media because one, that's not cool, and two, it's against our policy. And then don't post anything that can be deemed like pornographic in nature in our group me's or on your social media. And then don't post anything that's illegal, like underage drinking, drugs, crime, etc. Please don't do anything illegal either. And this applies to GroupMe, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of the social medias. I'm sure I'm forgetting some. Yeah, but we want y'all to have fun, and it's very easy to have fun without breaking policy. And it's put in place for really good reasons. So results of breaking policy can be anywhere from a disciplinary procedure to review board, probation, or removal, and just general like suckiness because it sucks. So just try not to do it. I think I have another slide. Okay, yeah. So specifics. Basically, no two members of the same camp can drink, travel, or date. That's like it at the barest minimum. Stay safe, be smart. If you're thinking about doing something and you're like, that might be a breach in policy, stay safe, don't do it, because it's really not worth it. So that was a lot. Does anyone have any questions? You can like put in the chat. No? Okay, cool. I think I have one more slide, I think. I have several. Kaylee, if you remember your question, you can text me. I'm happy to answer any of y'all's questions. So now CPT and background checks. So CPT stands for Child Protective Training, and we have all of our members trained to keep an eye out for signs of abuse and neglect, because we do actually have minors that come to our camp. So that's really important for us to keep in mind, and you'll learn a lot more about that later on. And then background checks, we run backgrounds on all of our members to make sure we're in good standing with the law, because it's the law. And then you should expect an email from Evan Grisham. He's our Director of Risk Management, with more details about CPT training, and an email from Sterling Talent Solutions for like the background check. And if you are experienced or something and you completed either of these for Howdy Camp, then you don't have to do it again. You just have to send Evan your certificate from the CPT training. So, yeah. Okay, and then attendance. So, usually we make our AC meetings mandatory, but since there are none, IC meetings will be mandatory instead. So this doesn't apply for tonight, but for future reference, if there are three different forms. There are three different forms that you can fill out. One is the class conflict form if you have a class during IC times, or you'll be leaving early, late. You'll have to fill out this form. Absence excuse request form. It's like if you can't make a specific meeting, like say next Sunday, I can't make that meeting, I'll fill that out. And then an extended absence request form is like if you can't make the meetings for an extended period of time that's not class, then you'll fill out the extended absence excuse form. And then all these are due 48 hours, like 2 days to the hour before the mandatory event. Okay, and then two things to keep in mind. 2 tardies results in 1 unexcused absence. And then your tardy if you arrive 10 minutes like after the start of a meeting. And then 2 unexcused absences equals a CP, so that's the conversation with your chairs. Then 3 equals a director procedure, which is the conversation with the directors. And then remember, if Kat, our director of registration, who she manages all those forms, if she doesn't know what's going on, she can't help you. So make sure you communicate with her if you do have a absence. Okay.
Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Emily.
Yeah.
All right, we appreciate it. Again, if y'all have any questions about any of like those forms or anything like that, you can always text Emily or you can ask us as well. We'd be more than happy to help, guide you in any of those things. But this next thing, we kind of touched on it earlier, is the 3+ rule. So in order to have that close-knit environment, we will have that 3+ rule in advance. So if you're hanging out with more than 2 people, and this does include virtual hangouts, we would ask that you please put it in the Hangout GroupMe so that you can invite everyone in the camp. And that just helps, again, create that inclusivity that we're looking towards. So if you want to meet up with like your texting buddy one-on-one through like Snap video, that's totally fine. We get it. We realize y'all want to bond one-on-one. That's totally fine. But anything more than that, please put it in the Hangout GroupMe just so everyone has a chance and an opportunity to bond with other people. And then we do realize that I would say the 3+ rule extends to like everyone in camp, but we realize right now with everything going on with A&M's policy right now, please keep in mind the maximum 10-person rule set by the university. So if you are comfortable having an in-person hangout and let's say 12 people show up, you're probably going to have to split into 2 different groups and kind of move apart from each other, and keep in mind social distancing because we want to make sure we're following A&M's policies when it comes to that. And also your health is important. Social distancing is important.
All right, and I think we touched on this during Rev Night perhaps, but we have a camp Google Drive. There will be multiple folders. It'll get more and more important as camp goes on, but like as of right now, it has a camp calendar. After this meeting tonight, recording this presentation will be on our YouTube channel, and then we'll have, I guess we might try to put the video on there, but it'll definitely be on our YouTube channel, and then we'll have the slides for this for sure in the camp drive. So, we're throwing a lot of information to y'all tonight, but you will be able to look back in the drive if you need to see any of these slides or know any of this stuff. Also, the contact sheet's already in there, so hopefully you can get everybody's social medias and numbers and everything. And then any other important things as camp goes on, it'll be in the camp drive so you can see it and have access to it.
And then this is kind of like a fun thing that we have. So camp themes. So we are looking for our themes for our camp. So already in our Google Drive, there is a doc called Camp Theme Ideas. If you have an idea for the theme you want of our camp, you can add your idea in there and we will vote on these April 5th. I put some kind of examples of camp theme ideas in there. So like one of the ideas I put in there was Alice in Woolverton. So it's usually like pop culture references with your camp name included in it. So it'd be like Alice in Wonderland, but for us it'd be Alice in Woolverton. And what that means is if it's a camp theme, we decorate a banner that hangs up in our kind of camp, all camp room, or even in our individual camp room for the campers to see. So think about some cool like pop culture things you can think of where you could incorporate our name into them, which would look really cool on banners and things. There are some past examples of banners that I can put in there as well, just so you can kind of see what they look like if you have any ideas for that. But again, please put any and all ideas into that doc. It's in the drive already, and we'll vote on these April 5th.
Yes, it's usually something that either rhymes with your camp name or starts with the same letter. Like I know, like Howdy Camp 2019, there was Camp Jones. They did like Game of Jones, or like my T camp last summer, it was Camp Wangler. We did Wangler of Oz. So it can be something that rhymes or just like alliteration starts with the same letter, something like that. So virtual IC meetings, you're in newsflash, you're in a virtual IC meeting right now. But these meetings will have important information in them every week. I think we're going to continue to have them Sunday nights at 8 p.m. And like Emily said earlier, if you can't make it, then there's a form for you to fill out, but we're probably going to keep it at this time. And also, like I said, YouTube channel, this video will be on there. And then tomorrow morning, you will be getting a recap email that covers everything we went over tonight, everything you might need to know. Please read these in their entirety. We'll be able to tell whether or not you read them. So please read it. It might have a small task or something for you to complete. So please just read the email. We just want you all to be able to internalize and remember all this information we're throwing at you. So yeah.
In virtual lunch buddies. So lunch buddies is something that we do to help facilitate people getting to know each other. So for this time around, obviously it's going to be best if we do virtual lunch buddies. So for instance, I'm in group 1, so it's going to be Laura, which is me, Pal, Lauren, Court, and Vanessa. Congratulations, you're in my virtual lunch buddy group. So we're going to facilitate a kind of a hangout where we can eat lunch together or something and just to get to know each other. So each of those groups is on there. So Robbie, Macy, Maria, and Matthew M, you're in group 2. Jennifer, Caroline, Parker, and Ali, you're in group 3. Grace and Terry, Red, Matthew, Olivia, group 4. Annalise, Nick, Emma, Franklin, and Ileana, you're in group 5. And then Seth, Isaiah, Kaylee, Katie, and Emily, you're in group 6. So we would ask that you please at some point during this week get together virtually, like eat lunch together, eat dinner together, just hang out and get to know each other. But yes, it can be really fun. And if you please, if y'all do that, if you'll take a picture of like the screen of y'all like eating together and send it to me, because I'm really trying to get our camp's Insta going, and I'd really like to post some of these cool pictures of us like hanging out virtually. So you guys can send those pictures to me of y'all hanging out. I think it'd be pretty cool.
Yes.
Yes.
So in addition to our lunch buddies, we also have texting buddies. So the texting buddies, you can be communicating through Snapchat, messaging. You can play iMessage games. You can talk about whatever you want, superficial things, deep things, your life story, your why for camp. Doesn't matter. Just please be in contact with that person throughout the week. Like we've said again and again, I want y'all to get to know everybody. So just please try to be engaged with the texting buddies and the lunch buddies as much as you can this week, and just really emphasize getting to know that person or that group of people this week. And you can text multiple people if you want, but please just at the bare minimum make sure you're in contact with the person on the texting buddies. And also the texting buddies, it'll be in the drive. So yeah, if you need to look back, it'll be in the drive.
And also we have everybody's contact information in that contact sheet that's in the drive. And Annalise, thank you for making that like downloadable contact thing so you can like quickly get everybody's contact into your phone. So if you don't have everybody's number now, don't worry, they're all in that drive. So yes, that's where you can find those numbers. So it goes across. So like Laura and Matthew M, we are together this week. So it goes across by rows on this one. Yes. And then some final reminders.
Yes, final reminders. Look for our recap email Monday morning, like we said. Read it in its entirety. Try to schedule your virtual lunch buddies meetup this week. Don't forget texting buddies. Camp theme ideas, please put them in the doc in the drive. I think it's just titled like camp theme ideas or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then we'll vote on these themes April 5th, which I believe is 2 weeks from today.
It is.
Yes. So go ahead, try to figure out some cool things to put in there. Even if you think it's kind of ridiculous and probably won't work, just throw it in there because we will be narrowing it down and voting. So even if you think it might be stupid, still put it in there.
Perfect. All right. Oh my gosh, that's it. We have now concluded our first IC meeting. Look at you, yes. Everybody. Pat yourself on the back. You did it.
Good
you
job,
got through your first IC meeting. There you go. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that you can actually see us. There we go.
Yes. And one last thing before we unmute you, or I guess if Laura wants to add something, she can. But I know that's a lot of information, but don't stress about it because like we said, it'll be in the drive if you need to look back. And any important pressing deadlines will be in the important group me. So as long as you're checking that, you're good for the time being. You're not going to miss anything super important. So don't stress too much about that.
Please don't stress. All right, I think that's all I had to add. So I'm going to like unmute you all, and it's going to be like a free-for-all, but I'm going to unmute you all.
Yes.
Here you go. Hello.
Hello.
Oh.
Howdy.
Hi.